Since commencing operations in August 2009, the CARICOM Development Fund has been providing financial and technical assistance to disadvantaged communities, regions, and sectors in the Caribbean community. The mission of Guyana's RAID project is to facilitate better land access, to improve farm production activities in the communities of Buxton Moko and Triumph. A total of 618 acres of land was cleared and prepared for cultivation in these disadvantaged communities. Funds provided by the CARICOM Development Fund facilitated the purchase of 25 pieces of equipment for drainage rehabilitation and land tilling.
The RAID project had three components. The loan component initially would have been for rehabilitation of drainage and irrigation structures in the four selected villages, namely Ithaca, BV Triumph, Buxton, and Moko.
The Government of Guyana and the CDF, or the CARICOM Development Fund, both understood the importance of including the procurement and distribution of equipment to communities under the project to upgrade the access dams and do rehabilitative work on the drainage and irrigation canals.
This part of the project was extremely novel. It was novel because not only did we provide excavation equipment and equipment for drainage, excavation and clearing and so on, but we worked with the communities to have them organize themselves so that they will be the ones bidding for the jobs, which meant that they formed themselves into cooperatives. They had first preference on the equipment.
The additional equipment was critical to improving the ministry's capacity to provide support to the farmers during and beyond the life of the project. The CARICOM Development Fund recognizes the serious threat that climate change poses to member states like Guyana, and is committed to helping them to minimize its negative impact.
What climate change did was to increase the challenge beyond what we would have expected. So one thing has occurred is that unseasonal rainfall is increasing, and the volume of water that is being dumped is increasing, which means that even though the project had catered for the dredging of canals to accommodate a larger volume of water, what we have discovered is that in some cases it still was inadequate.
Across CARICOM, the CARICOM Development Fund remains at the forefront of efforts to address the challenges faced by disadvantaged communities, regions, and sectors participating in the CSME.
Guyana at the time was a special case as a disadvantaged country because it had highly indebted poor country status as determined by the IMF and World Bank, and that allowed it to qualify for support from the CDF as a disadvantaged country. Interesting that things have changed since that time significantly, although those changes have not fully manifested themselves in terms of the performance of not just the economy, but it's the Guyana's capacity to meet its own development challenges. So going forward, we may see a situation in which Guyana's status is changing in the community, but there may be a transition period for the CDF in terms of how we work with Guyana from being a disadvantaged country to a non-disadvantaged country, if you like.